So, just to give you an idea into the personal nightmare that is my insanity, um, I got Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War for the PS5, played it, reviewed it, and then I thought, you know what? I'm going to review the first Black Ops before I do that. So I did that. I was getting the video all edited, and in mid-editing, I forgot that technically that wasn't the first in the series. Call of Duty World at War was the first in the series, and so I had to stop and go back and review this one. So, yeah. I maybe have 5 more years of sanity left? Who knows? I'm gonna get into it now. Okay, so back in 2007, Activision came out with the huge juggernaut hit Call of Duty for Modern Warfare. I mean, this thing was insanely huge. And at that point, they had 2 studios working on it. Infinity Ward and Treyarch. Treyarch did Call of Duty 3, which was a little lackluster, but they had the next one after Modern Warfare, and that was Call of Duty World at War. And when this first came out, I kind of remember people being pretty excited about it. I was wondering why it wasn't called Call of Duty 5, but, you know, people were excited about it, and little did anyone know that this actually was the start of a new series. And that'd be the Black Ops series. Now, granted, this wasn't called Black Ops, but it is the predecessor to Black Ops. And how it's a predecessor to Black Ops is some of the same characters that appear in Black Ops appear in this. Case in point, Viktor Reznov, if I believe his name is correct. They show him during the Russian campaign missions in this game, and like if you play Call of Duty Black Ops, he'll mention that he was in World War II and he like was in part of the march against Berlin when the Russians were coming in, and so while that didn't really need a backstory in that game, it's kind of fun to see that backstory in World at War. But it's not solely a Russian campaign. It also follows, kind of for the first time in the series, the campaign in the Pacific Theater. And interesting enough, it really shows kind of like a different type of war that happened compared to the European war. Or more properly known as the European Theater. There was the African Theater, European Theater, and Pacific Theater. And all 3 are much different than one another. The most notable one is the European Theater, because that's where D-Day happened, the push to Berlin, Battle of the Bulge. Usually when you say World War II, a lot of people think of the European Theater. But surprisingly, what's different about this game is that it is far more brutal than any other Call of Duty game that's set in World War II. To the point that this actually probably was what led to the second Modern Warfare game having the infamous no Russian level, and a lot of the more modern Call of Duty games being so brutal. Probably was because of this one paving the way first. I mean, it's not like other Call of Duty games, especially ones that came before it. I mean, you have guys getting hacked up in this game. I mean, flamethrowers are a very common weapon. I mean, you get to use a flamethrower in this game. Also, the tanks have flamethrowers. I mean, I think one of the planes have flamethrowers. I mean, there's a lot of flamethrowers in this game. Why it's not called Call of Duty Flamethrowers, I don't know. But it was a fun return to World War II. Because before this, I kind of got burnt out in World War II, then everything went to modern day, and when I saw this for a forward deal, it's like, you know what, I haven't played a World War II game in a while. And I went back, and it was a fun return. Gotta admit. It had variety to past World War II games I've played, although it is very similar to the Medal of Honor or Pacific Assault game that they had, or Rising Sun game. Pacific Assault for like PC, Rising Sun for consoles, and that was a lot of fun. So there was some similarities with that, although this looked a little bit better. And it was a fun return, but ultimately it did remind me that why I was so burnt out on World War II. I mean, everyone was doing World War II games at that point in the early 2000s to like 2008. I mean, they're a dime a dozen now, quite frankly, and the genre is a little bit burnt out. They did kind of do a return to it with Call of Duty World War II in like 2017, 2018, and so that was like a nice return again, but ultimately we are kind of burnt out on this genre. And so, interestingly enough though, during the cutscenes, I was surprised. I'm pretty sure that's Kiefer Sutherland's voice narrating the whole game. So like that's fun that they got Kiefer Sutherland to do that. Now, admittedly, you don't need to play Black Ops to be able to enjoy this. Obviously, Black Ops is a sequel to this. You can play Call of Duty World at War all by itself and never get into Black Ops. So I mean that's nice. And like apparently this was built off of the Modern Warfare 4 engine, or the Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare engine, because the sequel that wasn't called, there wasn't a numerical Call of Duty sequel, it was just Modern Warfare 2, so it's kind of confusing that way, but it was built off that engine. A lot of games actually started building off that engine after COD 4 Modern Warfare came out, and so this was built off it, and you can see some similarities with it. I'm kind of waiting for games to be built off of the new Modern Warfare engine, because that was a great engine. Admittedly, I did not bother with multiplayer. This was still during a time when they were only having multiplayer stuff online only, and it was before Black Ops, which introduced the advent of doing multiplayer content offline. And so that's unfortunate, because this actually seemed like it would have been a really fun multiplayer to play against bots. Now, I did play around with the zombies mode. Yes, this does have a zombie mode. You're basically in a building that's boarded up. Zombies try to get in, you gotta keep them out. And it's set in a World War II setting, so you got Nazi zombies. And it is as cool as it sounds. The one issue though, and it's actually an issue I've had with almost every zombies mode in Call of Duty games. If you're playing by yourself, it's not really that much fun. It's really more of a chore than it is a fun diversion. You really need at least one other person to really have fun with this mode. Yes, you can play the mode by yourself, but unless you're really, really into zombies, it's a little taxing by yourself. It's meant to be played with friends, and so that's unfortunate. But not all is perfect with this game. One of the things I didn't like was how it ended, especially with the final level where you're playing as a Russian and you're currently in the siege of Berlin and you have to take this building, and this one building was a pain in the ass to finish, and I was playing it on normal mode, so I cannot imagine what it'd be like on hard difficulty or feather difficulty. But I mean, that was a pain in the ass. However, probably my favorite level is the Catalina level, where you're actually in the gunner seat of a Catalina airplane, and that level is insanely fun. It's a little bit like the AC-130 level in Modern Warfare, but it has its own unique vibe to it, and it's short, sweet, They did a lot of great detailing on how when you switch, you see another guy walk by you in the plane. It doesn't feel like it's just you in the plane. It does feel like it's a cramped death machine because there's just guns all over this thing. And I mean, it's short, but it was a fun level. And so just kind of weakest level, best level kind of deal. So ultimately, is this the best Call of Duty game ever made? Absolutely, without doubt, no. But it's not the worst either. It's pretty good. I'd say it's one of the best World War II games behind 1 or the expansion to 1. Which name I can't seem to remember right now. I'll put it right here. But that was actually a really good one. I feel 2 was overrated, and this is definitely better than 2. Hands down. And so, yeah, I would recommend, if you find this for a good price, definitely pick it up. Now, it is available on PC, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360, but you can play this backwards compatible through Xbox One. And so that's probably going to be one of the best versions to play it as, unless you're doing it through PC and you got like a killer PC rig. If you're in the mood for World War II and you haven't done a lot with the Pacific Theater, then I would recommend giving this a try. It's a decent game, they did some good work with it, and it is the first chapter to the Black Ops storyline. So, you know, there's that. Anyway, this has been my review for Call of Duty World at War. My name's Chris Carr, 11 Hour Reviews, and that will be all.